And I owe Mount Auburn my career. In Cambridge, where I lived, unhappily married, with a guy who brought 3 kids to the marriage, I was trying to save a community garden. The hospital that owned the land had let us use the garden space. And then they decided they needed 24 parking places. So the only obvious thing to do would be to pave the garden. So said I, naively, let me research the background of this land, and I'll find something and we'll win. So I researched. It was on Hovey Ave, corner of Cambridge Street. I researched. I found out Charles Mason Hovey owned the land. He was a 19th century horticulturist. He had 40 acres of nursery space in mid-Cambridge, which, can you believe, near Inman Square. He developed the Hovey seedling strawberry, which made strawberries viable for the market. Otherwise, we had little itty-bitty things from the woods. He wrote and edited the Gardener's Magazine, which was the first national horticultural magazine. I said, good God, we're really going to win. And he grew up in Cambridge, very poor, loved plants, had blacksmiths and plain folk writing for his magazine. I said, we're absolutely going to win. And I have 150 gardeners going to win. And I said, oh, he's buried at Mount Auburn. So I went over there. They said, oh, Charles Mason Hovey. Yes. Where is he? He's at the corner of Mound and Spruce. It's a nice location. So I thought, all right. I got over there, corner of Mound and Spruce. Nothing. Nothing. Not a marker, not a tree, not a pebble. Nothing. So I went back to the office and said, what did he do wrong? Because everybody else has stuff. Well, he's never had a marker, he's never had a monument. Why? Well, he fell into trouble. He was very helpful with giving plants to the cemetery and all of that, president of Mass Hort, but then he fell into financial trouble. His wife, after she passed, was in the receiving tomb for about 2 or 3 years until he could afford to bury her. And his son went out to California. You've heard of the Rose Bowl and the Rose Parade? Mm-hmm. He worked on that. And I said, but you know, there's nothing, a stick, a bloom, nothing. So I went back and I said, okay, Chuck, because I figured I knew him by then. I said, all right, Chuck, what's the story here? And it took me a while, and I realized other people have stories and I better tell them. That was the start. So every time I go to Mount Auburn, I go to the corner of Mound and Spruce, and I say, okay, Chuck, how we doing? And it's worked out just well. In fact, I was able to find online, he also wrote The Fruits of America, that he thought would be like Audubon and The Birds of America. And I have some of his prints. So I thought, he's like us. We live a life, and who's going to tell anybody about us? Mm-hmm. There'll be somebody like me who will come along later and tell about us, and that's what has to happen. So I owe everything. I'm going to cry. I owe everything to Mount Auburn. Thank you.